Good day, everyone. In today's session, we will focus on document guidelines. In this lesson, we will learn what document guidelines are, why they matter, and how they help us write clear, professional, and well-organized documents. In this, our lesson objectives, by the end of this session, you should be able to define what document guidelines are, identify the key elements of document guidelines, and to analyze documents for clarity, purpose, and audience. And lastly, to summarize information from academic sources effectively. Okay, so let's start with a question. What makes a document like a manual, letter, or memo easy or hard to understand? Okay, so keep that in mind as we go along. Okay, document guidelines are basically rules or standards that ensure documents are clear, consistent, professional, and useful to the intended audience. Without guidelines, our writing may sound confusing, unorganized, or unprofessional. So why document guidelines matter? Why are guidelines important? First, they improve clarity, okay, and understanding. They help us maintain professionalism. It avoids errors and confusion, and it increases our credibility as writers. Most importantly, they make sure the needs of our audience are met. Here are the essential elements of the document guidelines. The essential elements of the document guidelines are, first, purpose. Why am I writing this? To inform, to instruct, or to request? Next, audience. Who will read your writing? A teacher, a boss, or classmates? Next, essential elements of the document guidelines is organization. It is a logical flow. It has an introduction, body, and conclusion. Next, the tone and style. It should be formal, objective, concise. Avoid casual words like guys or stuff. Next, the formatting and design. Avoid jargon, ambiguity, and errors. Always check spelling, grammar, and the facts. Okay. And lastly, last essential elements of the document guidelines is ethics. Respect intellectual property and avoid plagiarism. Okay. I have an example here. The first example is the poorly written text because it does not follow guidelines or the document guidelines. So let me read. Hi guys, this paper is about climate change and stuff. It's really bad for the world and we should do something, right? There are many things happening like global warming, floods, and typhoons. I don't really know the details, but it's important to talk about. Please read it if you want. Thanks. Okay, so in this example, it is poorly written text. Okay? The audience is not considered. It uses casual words like guys, stuff. Okay, there is no clear purpose. Okay, the points are random with no structure, and it lacks it lacks accuracy. There is no data or sources. Okay, and the tone is informal, like chatting with a friend. Okay, so clearly, this does not follow document guidelines. Okay, so next example. In this example, the example number 2, it is now the well-written text because it follows guidelines. So so now compare um, this with a well-written version of the text. Okay, let me read. This report discusses the impact of climate change on the Philippines, particularly the increased frequency of typhoons and rising sea levels. The purpose of this paper is to raise awareness and recommend sustainable practices for disaster risk reduction. According to PAGASA 2022, there has been a 25% increase in the intensity of tropical storms over the last decade. These findings highlight the urgent need for government and community-based interventions to minimize risk. Okay, so this report is clear and professional. It states the purpose, okay? It states the purpose to raise awareness and recommend solutions. The audience is considered. It uses a formal tone. It is organized with introduction, evidence, and recommendations. And it is accurate. Okay? It's citing data from PAGASA. This is a good example of applying a document guidelines. Okay. And this slide is about the guideline. Okay, the instructions here, we just compare the two texts. Okay, so now let's ask yourself, okay, what is the purpose? Who is the audience? Is the tone appropriate? Is it organized clearly? So this will train you to quickly spot whether a document follows the guidelines. In the okay, so let's spot the guideline. Okay, so the example number 1. Okay, so the first one is okay, for that's all for now. So we'll proceed to the next lesson, to the next meeting or video. Okay, that's all for today. Bye.